He's looking at a very odd episode, maybe tragic. And that is what the Americans were doing at the time of the Russian Revolution and in the year that followed that.
Bring the elements of the Manhattan Project
3,
together
2,
in one
1.
place.
Under the clouds that were too thin to see, swarms of
Identified something called the human archetype.
And I replied by Lord.
Remember that situation
Hermann Molnar
Stalin by
came to
this
his
time had
conclusion,
eliminated
proposed to
carbon
Stalin a radical eugenic plan. He suggested that the Soviet Union starts the program of the artificial insemination of women with the sperm of outstanding men. Stalin was
There you go. Alright, cool. You guys can bring me back to stage. Just like, maybe try to get the camera angle from there, but not from the side. Yeah, great. Alright, cool.
With Asperger's.
Definitely had some interrogation lights. We probably turn the lights back on. Because the lights are like interrogation lights, we actually cannot see out of it.
Less staring into the abyss and less glass staring is really bizarre.
This is a particular application of AI, but there are more applications down the road that will make sense. We'll talk about that later.
It's very odd. In a place with padded walls. Seasoned dehydrated nutrient gel in a little greenhouse that would land, and you'd hydrate the gel, and then you'd grow the plants, and you'd have this great shot of green plants on a red background. I swear they looked like a sanitarium or something. I don't know. Seriously, this place had padded walls. Why do you have padded walls in a place with padded walls?
So what we want to show today is that the lights are like interrogation lights, so we can actually see out of it.
Some weird meeting. When I got back from that third trip 3 times.
Hello everyone, sorry for the delay. Thanks for coming. And sorry, I had some technical difficulties.
A strange experience.
We need AI for this, and
then there they put you on 4 points.
Well,
They shoot you up, tie you up, your legs, your feet, and you stay there for like.
This is not glass. That's glass. Is it? Yeah, because being that this was a nut board, I figured that way nobody throw something and break it. The way it sounds, yeah.
That's really what it was. It's not clear.
Yeah. Padded walls, I'll throw my head against it.
I don't know about padded walls. I don't know.
It is.
It probably had padded walls.
It is.
It probably had padded walls. Now I don't know.
It is padded walls. John, let me touch it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Then again, once they give you a shot of Thorazine, you're not doing anything anyway. Nah, give you a shot of Haldor.
Huh?
500 milligrams. Have you in the corner there like a baby. Drool it.
Drooling. All the time. They used to have a bib on.
And then when you that shit wear over, you get up and walk, you can't even walk. Why don't we just go the old-fashioned route? Let's go shot treatment.
Well, that was before the lobotomy. Did you ever see the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was, in the end, they gave him a lobotomy.
Yeah. They took a piece of his brain out.
Yeah. That's a great movie.
That's crazy.
Through the time, I think we've had these gaps, lost some of our culture and our language and our traditions.
Oh, God. Yes. You don't just sit down and make a conscious choice.
As the things seemed to me to be getting serious, I felt it was my duty to intimidate the government and break down our democratic institutions.
so that you find occasionally a man knows 2 things. And that intersection may be a great event in the history of ideas.
And so they turn to a gruesome technique called parabiosis. In parabiosis, you literally sew together 2 communication.
We know now that dreams are a biologic necessity.
In other words, the drug
See, they have made experiments of waking people up whenever they start to dream.
That hat looks like a preacher's hat. Well, it ain't.
And I say that not because I really believe it,
but it isn't just about the influence of drug.
Because I know that the evidence isn't really there.
Prozac, what I did in second pharmacology. psychology to push the influence of drugs into set measures.
Interested in you, Chinese more than anybody else. That's why they give it to you.
Very sophisticated. And I think the public doesn't realize how sophisticated the marketing treatments, which
I spent 18 years in this industry. I was one of the best of the best. I'm here to tell you, the industry has run amok.
is this type of treatment is this the kind of treatment that we want to be programmed for patients? Why has it come to this split model of treatment?
There's a very strong.
And we have
Essentially a 15-minute med check.
Хищение горошка. Ты сказал, что вообще туда
We
не
are
нельзя.
Это та еще не artificial diagnostic method.
Потом они три
To make our diagnosis, we usually prescribe medication.
Посчитается абсолютно банальной.
Приодеваться, превращаться в толстенных козлей, то вандеров героев,
Antidepressants are no more effective than placebo. But yet there are over 44 million people that have been taking these
Meanwhile, the patient
antidepressants.
is likely having much longer long-tail conversations with the therapist, in which they're really talking about what's going on in their life in a much more detailed way. How much information do you, the psychiatrist, or prescribe medications, get from the therapist?
The drugs are always tried against a placebo in clinical trials.
Типаж, актер, костюм, таковой, пейзаж. Любят поэтически. Все получится.
New Journal just announced that exercise is twice as effective as antidepressants in curing depression. Ask your doctor if getting your blood off the couch is right for you.
Потому что всегда на пути этой вещи вставали простые русские люди.
Я согласен отдать Ашману Закирей передачу.
Это был покер.
I remember distinctly the disappointed eyes.
Distinctly I remember. It was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember are mad at go. Truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was
frankly, in 30 years ago, before there were effective medications, we had just
Unfortunately, I became psychiatrically stable.
Up there like freight trains going straight ahead.
But I remember doing all chemicals. Maybe the place having some rebellious guy against the world down. And it was like leave all your hopes behind you.
I'm too big by far, pity me. My eyes bulge and hurt, they are my one great beauty even so. They see too much above, below, and yet there is not much to see. The rain has stopped. The mist is gathering on my skin in drops. The drops run down my back, run from the corners of my downturned mouth, run down my sides, and drip beneath my belly. Perhaps the droplets on my mottled hide are pretty, like dewdrops.
This is
Silver on a molten leaf.
very effective way to love.
I feel my colors changing.
На студии не любят поэтический кинематограф таковой.
I walk with red carpet and
Вот там пляж, ласты, трусики, маечки, фильтры, очки, и все получится.
The reason it starts in 1960.
Mentor and an inspirational speaker.
Это я выдумал, или это правда? Все говорят, это вы выдумали. Нет, это правда, которую я додумал.
One Sunday, children picked me up, and me and two brothers. They set us down to get somewhere, and in our mouths they put lit cigarettes. We could not help but smoke them to the end. I thought it was the death of me, but when I was entirely filled with smoke and my black mouth was burning and all my frights were hot, they let us go. I have big shoulders like a boxer. They are not muscle fibers. My color is dark. They are my sacks of poison, almost unused poison that I bear, my burden, my great responsibility. Big wings of poison, holding on my back. Beware, I am an angel in disguise. My wings are evil, but not deadly. If I will, the poison can break blue, black, and dangerous to all. Blue, black, blue, ride upon the air. Beware, you frivolous brat.
Das sonst zerzauste weiße Haar war zu einer peinlichen, blauen, leuchtenden, heiligen wieder.
Almost always stood still, gathered his entourage around him.
This mutant gene will, on the average, pass down through about 20 generations before the minor defect containing this gene is extinguished.
No problem. I'm going 20,000 times.
By Will o' the Wisps illumined. Sets the clouds on fire.
Proceed to an area where the blast can be safely observed. These unusual enclosures, out of reinforced concrete, with primary blast action, were lined with thick sheets of lead to protect Bill from the effects of radioactivity. To further protect Bill from the effects of radiation, sliding lead panels over the camera ports, designed to close automatically, accidental erasure of speed tracks, making radioactive penetration impossible. Scientific personnel leave the target area.
Essentially, all branches of knowledge will also allow this to happen.
Of the daylight, the darkness.
Concept of a national
We are government organizations and we don't want to be
Belief in eugenics
share
was not
company.
confined
We
to
don't want to
politics.
change that times because a lot of unknown. Now in our country we are waiting. Because we are thinking that our life, our conditions for work rather good. And a lot of problems in our country freedom. For example, many strikes in our country, minor people.
Data mining.
Negative stages of our law because they gave, the government and some organization gave a lot of freedom for the people towards the companies which tried to be a competitor for us, but they are now destroyed.
В этом же самом здании выбегает из зала и заявляет.
Another point of view, it's great opportunity. Of course, they're running the risk of being robbed, killed, lose investments, have bad partner, and so on. But practically, it's like a time movement machine.
With regard to the reset not working.
Now we have the end of 19th century, or the beginning of 19th century. And of course, if somebody wants to move the life quicker, you should act
exponential statements are the kinds of statements that you almost have to feel
what they're talking about. That's why there's a great difference between talking about the Trinity, the creative idea, and the energy, the power.
She's got her ticket. I think she gonna use it. No one should try and stop her. Persuade her with the power.
The noise of trucks.
I'm not precious. I'm not like you.
Perfect day for banana fish.
We were 97 years advertising in the hotel.
The way they were monopolizing the long distance. The girl in 507 had to wait from noon till almost 2:30 to get her call.
There were 97 New York advertising men in the hotel. The way they were monopolizing the long distance. The girl at 507 had to wait from noon till almost 2:30 to get her call.
Gorilla, my love, play, they say.
These arrangements are stamped in every sphere of economic, social activity around the world. Our mission is
Sin
to
embargo,
advance and
una
promote
polémica
geography,
internacional
business,
que la gente
government,
en relación con la
science,
contrainsurgencia
and
y que en
education.
consecuencia no parece coincidencia una lista de todas las instituciones y corporaciones que tengan acceso a los datos procesados del proyecto de mapeo hemos denominado geopiratería,
Its
que
geography is
escribió
buoyed
posteriormente
as
como reacción
enterprise,
a la
technology,
Argentina
and
anterior,
popular movement.
afirma que la gente
We
del
aim to
sector
spark a national
expresamente
discourse
que debe
of the
suspender
ever-growing
sus
importance
trabajos
of geography,
y retirarse.
the unique folly that threatens it.
WBIL por sus siglas en inglés.
Here and later, we aim to assemble diverse leaders who may not otherwise have the opportunity to interact. We will provide many opportunities for discussion, debate, collaboration, to further the cause.
And the victim is a paranoid.
The movie come on, and right away, it's this church and music. And clearly not about no gorilla. It's about Jesus. And I am ready to kill, not because I got anything against Jesus. It's just that when you click to watch a gorilla picture, you don't want to get messed around with Sunday school stuff.
And that, as I say, resulted in people becoming very paranoid. Holding out her paper roll out and shit. Can find the same process of operation all around us around the clock.
Well, look here, Precious.
Unlimited edition with mass
They
edition.
don't know what they're doing.
It's no absent.
No gorilla, my none.
Could be
So
a
if you're
shame
scary
society.
like me,
You definitely
you
wouldn't tell
sleep
the
with
truth
the
if it's
lights
going to
on
hurt
and you
somebody's
blame it
feelings.
Get this power over the whole of society.
And people don't fuck, don't
I walked down to fucking street, saw a fucking broad and went into the fucking park and had sexual intercourse with her.
You don't have to say what you must get.
He's not going to have his soul damned by the government or any foreign place there. He was offered the chance to even waiting for him, and he's been looking for his opportunity. Tremendous violent responses in the world, and in particular, violent responses to God.
So I am mad. Because we've seen seen all the Three Stooges there was. Even gangsters in the movie say, my word is my bond. You gotta mean it. Well, if you think so, that's your business. So, I am forced to leave, taking matches from under his ashtray. You gotta mean it. And set a fire under the candy stand. You gotta mean it. So, we all go wild. Yelling and booing and stomping and carrying on. It's really to wake that man up in the booth up there who must have went to sleep and put on the wrong reel. But no, because he hollered out to shut up. And then he turned the sound up, so we really gotta holler like crazy to even hear ourselves good. Then here comes the big and bad bass, the one they let out in the end of the emergency, moving back and forth like he's playing ping pong. Which is just some skinny woman in a countrified dress with her hand shot up to her face like she's shamed folk happy. She do not smile, she do not play, so we shut up and watch the simple ass talk that talk. If that's what he wants to do with his life, we ain't got nothing to say.
You still ain't getting nowhere. You went on this floor. Oh, when we got on the floor, you went on this floor. What's your name? You can't get nothing. You got the whole floor.
But you know, that came here 600 years ago, one vote, in the name of God. That was my grandmother, you know, and coming back, a lot of other descendants.
Drug from birth. That's the re-engineering of all society.
Fuck 'em all, squares on both sides. Always in the hospital. How's that? Tell Ezra to pull down his gun.
It used to be in olden days there was a little glass that you had ink in on your desk and you dipped your pen in. We call that an inkwell. Okay? Martin Luther was going to throw his inkwell at the devil. From a philosophical point of view, that is my lens. Suppose the devil doesn't exist. Did Martin Luther, when he threw the inkwell, throw the inkwell at the devil? That is my lens.
I can't have a television that can access the internet without permission.
Well, in one sense, the devil didn't exist. Propositionally speaking, he didn't do it. The other side of the coin is, intentionally, whether the devil existed or not, we thought the devil didn't exist, and he intended to throw the inkwell at the devil, so it is true on that level. Intentional statements, existential truth statements, are the kinds of statements that you almost have to feel what they're talking about as opposed to explain. That's why there's a great difference between talking about the Trinity and the creative idea, the energy, the ability, the power. Those things you can talk about rationally and say that makes sense.
But it takes you to figure out. So we understand exactly what happened. Too damn small to give you any credit.
I must say it's very interesting, having spent 3 years teaching Doolittle, to now be taught by you.
The rights of man, his own madness, benevolently attracted to the dream, which is my
walking around a large pair of scissors, cutting all the drapes in half.
Señores, con todo el respeto, me es imposible hablar de ese sujeto. Yo sé mucho más que todos ustedes reunidos.
Crazy and irrational idea.
So in that sense, yes.
Of their accents.
Being a hermit is not healthy.
Today, just 300 traded. And it's traded on the American, the 300 shares.
These are banished, relegated to special exhibits of degenerate art.
I think that protect the house from outside. You ain't got nothing.
Orson on this one. She's very good. Maybe you were talented. Good. She's an AA like she's cool. And my future wife can have a glass of wine and she comes back. She's sick of the hip. She's not well. I don't want her sick again. I want a woman who's really sick.
To impress him, takes on a multi-armed form and says,
And when that devil takes you down that road, it's a long way back.
And because it's going to be now, we've been waiting so long. I think that you are really special. You know, when I met
world's first thermonuclear device, codename Mike.
on that scaffolding reclined. No, I'm going to leave the scene. I got a different meaning.
Like a long-legged fly upon the stream, his mind moves upon silence.
He was especially fond of hanging.
Deuterium.
We actually put tritium in Mike. We were in charge of that, and we got the thing fabricated.
You or no other man can serve two masters. You can't be loyal to your patients and at the same time be loyal to the man who's paying your salary. And believe me, there'll be many times when you have to make decisions based on that very thing. front of her.
He closed his mouth, and after a second, he returned the piece of cigar to it and said, "That's the trouble with you preachers. You are that too good to believe in it." And he drove off with a look of disgust and righteousness.
What do you say, Doctor?
All I can say is it's a big step in the right direction. Now, gentlemen, if you'll excuse me, I have a few calls to make. Good day, Doctor. Good day.
Как-то надзиратель сделал ему замечание. Плохо мигает из огонька.
Сами главный прокурор в суде и кричит, что если этот подонок не получит 8 лет, то следующий будешь ты.
We heard about you treating some of the men during their lunch hour.
You end up in some kind of a dance of life.
The streets become filled with crowds of workers and shoppers.
And man bear his existence.
You realize what people will say? They'll call him an unethical and incompetent who couldn't get by in private practice. That's what they'll say.
The whole idea is unethical.
To pay for things that introduced opium, this trade was booming. Then in the evening, they were full screen home again.
И стал мститься Реньку.
There was a point of impact is in fact the grace of God is experienced in a crushing fashion by the main character. One of the problems that we tend to have in language, reductionism takes place, society of men, particularly linguistic reductionism, another kind of statement. In other words,
I'm sorry, gentlemen, I only...
Now it is voicecraft, and we try to make it a compositional statement.
What do you mean by
We always
that?
end up in trouble.
Его обвиняли в подбросе взрывного устройства и гранат.
There is some kind of a teleological pull.
I've spent years making my name in a pocket watch
We belong in a place that is going
Maybe working with some other doctor's
our real home. We're destined for greater purposes, greater things than we have this segment of industry. It does different things in non-fiction, straightforward thinking. For the first time, I have great difficulty in getting used to it. We're used to how God wants to speak to us, but we don't generally listen about how the devil wants to speak to human beings. The world is a place that it does occupy us by the devil, and they see it with what we do. Yes, certain hours. He doesn't feel clean. I see everything in relationship.
That's positively insane.
Here is sacrificial love. His arms and legs stretched like glass and nailed with 10 million
It becomes a very useful marketing department.
Так по щеке хлопнет, у него выпадает пирожок изо рта.
You don't want to open the Pandora's box. There's another step. A factory here, not a house. That's kind of another leg of the stool, as it were. And honestly, there are some who are very skeptical. I couldn't say that I was naive.
До лампочки сидит там пирожок, ест на
Metaphorically speaking, a struggling.
Please treat this as confidential. They have about 80 million in venture capital seed funding.
Beautiful hospital, and I had a big incident with the doctor. And the doctor said,
He's publishing data.
Don't have the privileges to leave the building.
The drug companies discovered that they were able to purchase information about doctors' prescribing habits from pharmacies.
You are here on an indefinite stay.
Funnel
Become more
information
conformed.
to their
Can't
drug
determine the
reps
time of your release.
right into the laptops. And then electronics that information to direct their marketing.
That they can
When
use
a
to
rep
promote
would call
and
a
drive a
doctor,
business
he or she
model.
could bring up a laptop
And instead
and
of
could
solving
find
real
out whether
legitimate
a doctor
problems, they
prescribed
sunk
enough
most of their
Ambien
time
and
and
whether
money
he was
into
still prescribing
creating a
too much
cheap
trazodone
knockoff.
for
I thought it was more really helps basket know weaving or what something I like like. that.
Because the drug reps, as they began to trust me more and more, would start to fax me kind of detailed sheets about each doctor.
They were here before us.
Literally get a sheet saying the doctor is prescribing 20% Celexa, 30%
That's about 6
Zoloft,
million people
40%
all.
Prozac,
So they say
10%.
1/10 of 1% is a response rate. To sign up for the company's flagship product, that's an abysmal response rate for any online product other than spam. Because their developers leverage it. It's also budget now. A couple of cookie cutter libraries ridiculous, especially and these libraries have not been tested in anything resembling a high-load scenario. I would rather see them solve the one-click subscribe issue universally on any device than a base rip-off that doesn't offer even a tenth of the functionality.
Institutions which have shaped our society, particularly the home,
which has always been in our culture the nucleus of society itself.
privileges.
We have a good information sharing system now around the world through various intelligence agencies.
Position in section.
There is no theory behind what I'm telling you. It's all provable.
You see, for the past several months, I've been doing quite a good deal of research and study on the subject of
as any of the other Fortune 500 companies.
Only later did I realize that this was really all about indoctrinating us
Extremely serious withdrawal symptoms if they're stopped. The pharmaceutical industry doesn't want to cure people. If they were, they would be in the business of putting themselves out of business. Specifically when we're talking about psychiatric drugs, in particular, we told you may be on the drug for the rest of your life because they're almost impossible to get off of.
Bosses, they're going to be able to sell the drug really
They
whether the
are
drug is
not
effective.
going to easily or readily give up that income.
I had a phone call this afternoon.
Medicine became medical.
It was meant for you.
Madison Avenue was riding high by that time.
And that dance, if you will, of suffering together epitomized how we can relate in this world and do something to reduce suffering.
In order to maximize my income, I want to fit as many patients into an hour as I can.
We are at a severe crossroads. Once you start down the road, you will be a lifelong customer for the pharmaceutical industry. That's how that are preyed upon by
I think he might have an important one in the medical profession. He's been working with some other doctors' patients. Couldn't steal them
in
out.
spite of the fact that he doesn't feel clean. Quite often,
Вокруг него там много показывают эти фильмы ужасных и прочее.
so that he could suffer for other men. And so that he could understand in some way. Somebody else said, well, it's easy for me.
I've worked out a rather complete program. I think this would be a good start.
Help us because we had an unfair
For the
advantage.
most part, very little progress has been made.
Well, that's not up to you to worry about.
Unconscious.
That's up to the men who run the factory.
Solution to any problem is to take a vacation
Don't take no pills. You don't need
or
pills.
to change your circumstances.
All you need to do is dance.
Where'd you hear about him?
Dance and be happy. You know,
She
when
don't
you
usually
dance
have
in front of
preachers.
everybody,
I might add, at times,
in the
it
shower.
Because if you start to hear too much information, then we're going to run into time issues. Where we're going to have to kind of push them out of the office, have just the to understanding the treatment.
We think maybe we can carry the plan a little further.
The strange story that nobody was interested in this goddamn show and this because no fault because there was nothing bad. No reaction because there was nothing bad. Really can't waste his blood redeeming people because he's an old man and he doesn't have any God.
Just what would you propose, specifically?
Jesus is all me. Whether he's a son or whatever, somehow senses he's out of sight. He lives in an impulse toward secular or time. I want to destroy the smug confidence that the human nature is perfectible by its own efforts. Within the human being, a destructive element with which there is an existential struggle. He's on a train while he's actually sleeping. He's thinking of his dream. He's thinking about
reconfiguring of the professional landscape.
This constant cycle goes on. The rhythm and pulse of the city.
All the way.
Human individuals come to strategic points in their lives.
I know what a hamburger is.
I'm afraid your idea is a little too ambitious for us.
Either accept or reject the grace of God.
When you're seeing patients for 15 or 20 minutes every month, every 2 months, sometimes every 6 months, for once a year, you can imagine how you could have that in patients.
You know, we're running a factory here, not a hospital.
I see everything in relationship to that. People are trying to say, if you know,
Don't create any hope that we will intervene.
and there's a song playing in the background. Every philosophy, reality is here, reality is here, reality is here. It's impossible to do justice to the kind of mind. Check out all of the philosophies, finding them to be deficient in one or two men. They are either too mystical and not, or they are too real and not mystical.
Stay in the
Draw in the direction of the Reason is related to truth, and imagination connects with meaning. Communicates his ideas in satire and fantasy, which appeal to the imagination, and in didactic, logical treatises, whose arguments appeal to the mind.
You will also they're only good when you sleep, when you're dead. When you sleep, everybody sleeps. When I want to sleep, brushing my teeth, I want to I love singing as Roxanne takes, especially in a good way. All the celebrate, but don't push the road back on happiness. Don't be tracked by no that. No, never at any time. Put money in the dollar. And rob billions of dollars over them. Don't be tranquilized. That's no right to that in officer other than the schools. No, I know it takes most tranquilizers, psychiatrists. They need it. Like, I need all my psychiatrists tranquilizers. They need it more than anybody else. That's why they give it to me.
Al verme ciego, Dios me alma el corazón. Deja de llorar. Deja de llorar.
I just like money out. I just like the medical that bullshit thing. It's supposed worse than that. I don't know how to keep it. I don't want to go there. I've been in the hospital, I'm like a yo-yo all my life. And I don't take no medicine. I'm like
There's been such vacuum in knowledge and mechanism.
Time and space, light, good
don't get them in trouble. You deserve a tax break. Better than McDonald's. I never liked McDonald's. I know what a hamburger is.
In the mornings, Manhattan acts like a heart and draws in the workers from their homes in the surrounding areas.
We're less intelligent than others.
Filled with crowds of workers and
They
shoppers.
tie you down. 4 hours.
Eastern European Jews and Russians were mentally deficient.
I ran away. I tried to run out of the building. Finally got to 4 hours of the bed.
Aired in Congress, bolstering the arguments of those who wanted to keep them out of the country.
When we come, the end of time, I will try my little best to read them.
any of George MacDonald's children's stories, or any of his novels, except for
what the boys refer to as
I was on a lot of my daughter and
waiting.
I was on several the worst thing.
Back and visited again, I think now would be
And the fact that she made me overwork again.
While there remains one dark soul without the light of fight.
Salvation on.
Like of that fight, he added to the end. When I woke up,
and those things that I was when I got on everybody.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Требует законное право быть досрочно освобожденным из плена этого фашистского. Меня посадили незаконно.
Так уходил из себя, испуганный, дрожал и трусился и умирал. Кардиограмма, великий испуга, к сожалению, кардиограмма страха. Это удивительная трагедия. Years and years of living under totalitarian rule, or rather the absence of any rules except the yoke of fear, the omnipresent fear, causing the deformation of spine and mind alike. Кардиограмма
Dedicated professional non-seers are in all positions of power. Non-seers is an escalating process. Yes, and see faith, the rest will see glory.
I try to run out of the building. I mean, that's 4 hours in the bed. It's charging down. 4 hours. Elevation off.
get on the rails unless there is a place where people can talk to each other and work together on the problems of the bomb.
Straight ahead on tonight's live CBS News, modern history's most popular poet, fighting hard for the soul of its sometimes skeptical flock.
Anyone who's writing or publishing anything on the so-called flying saucers publicly horsewhipped, refrain from further activity, no matter what the evidence was for.
8 years, fusion holders.
Химера, который сидит и смотрит своим клювом, и уже там вот я был химерой, который сидит на Нотр-Дам и смотрит на Великий Париж и завидовал вот этому солнечному дню, который нам несла культовая социальный строй, как химеру, которая, значит, вот химера.
Солнце, весна, птички пойдут звонать.
Days dream.
A master of the good times.
The Rotary Club will keep this big horse.
Has a tremendous imagination. Don't misunderstand. Imagination does not mean fabrication.
The other personal involved occupied through reading language
Thermal power stations on Vietnam, then Bangladesh, from Pakistan, our government, they don't know the
Я работал и страдал на 3 деспотах. Он есть как диаграмма испытаний, страха. Деспоты были там, при мне.
Because in those days, illness was a political
What do you want? Now we are thinking about choice.
Taking the water, you know, he's still in his clothes on. He says, no, I don't care. He's going to the thing.
О чистоте происхождения.
Leading up to the Mandarin secrets of within.
And then he said, well, you want $1 million. Yeah? I'm not interested in $1 million either.
Then he told him he wouldn't go with them for $1 million and feather bed the land.
Okay, I know. You want the hand of my beautiful daughter.
But if I feel like racing,
I says, no. I don't even care about the hand of your beautiful daughter.
Просто придурок.
Хочу, убиваю.
Обратите.
Я себе.
Sometimes corporate glory in his eyes and smile hanging onto his face by its fingernails. It's the only way. Never, says Rice. Says Pappas lost his eye, a lung, in his profile to a mob in Chicago.
I worked in London, and I was the best
Note of warning. You heard of him? Chicago fire began to spark. If you people will cooperate.
This is Pacific Ocean Convention. This is Pacific Ocean Lobster Special Convention.
man said, well, what in the world do you want?
Которые кончают ноченкой, а таннеры выходят на дне.
in the Church of Christ, without Christ, can a bastard be saved? There's no such thing as a bastard in the church without Christ. Everything is all one. A bastard wouldn't be any different than anybody else. I feel like killing you. You don't feel like being killed?
Power market is very
Just depends on who's doing the killing.
delicate. Only the biggest company can. Together with Gazprom, we will construct the power.
Out of suffering, stability. Out of this common moment, and yet yes, balance and movement. And the power get real. Oh, you can't explain by words. It's nice in this experience angel of God who is going through the universe trying to present the full of other souls.
Just to the end, they still believe I was
Experience.
Only was 10 minutes on the church and had so long time ago.
Held anything in common with each other. In other words,
He's been over 3 years. More than ever.
Соединяются как трилогии для того, чтобы получить границу времени.
Блестящая лошадь. Безумной красоты.
really should help them. Also, there weren't two opposing principles that existed for eternity or whatever. You can't account for this just by arrogance.
Schizophrenia as a society.
What disorders are new?
Experience, the expression,
Which
the
ones
ideas,
no longer exist?
all necessary to one another, but not all identical with one another. If you can understand that, then possibly you can understand something
These
about
were
Father,
awkward terms at the time. In a rudimentary science was trying to distinguish.
You need to be aware of the differences between diseases, disorders, and between syndromes.
Have you been sick? You don't seem to be as enthusiastic about other disease to be. So that's where your batting average. At that point, I realized I just The only value I had to the company was as a salesman. I was expected to get the numbers up. I wasn't really being expected to provide medical education. And it was a sort of a dog and pony show.
Where crazy people go.
I would come in, the drug rep would come in with a platter of goodies for the office staff. And then I would give my spiel, which was based on a slide set, reconfiguring the professional landscape, which is the kind of thing we've seen in the 1960s. Most practitioners come on the scene, they can prescribe medication appropriate narcotic deficiency. It increases levels of 2 chemicals in the brain rather than just 1. And then it becomes a reasonable thing for us to say to patients to give them more confidence in the treatment that they're getting from us.
Settle what the boys refer to as case.
Why you go before
God, they said,
Well,
tales
you
to
heard about the
tell.
situation. We don't know how the medications actually work in the brain.
God, they said, we don't believe it.
Essentially, we don't understand the pathophysiology of what generates mental illness, and we don't understand exactly how medications work. Patients want to know that we as physicians have some basic understanding of what we're doing when we're prescribing medications. And they certainly don't want to hear that a psychiatrist essentially has no idea how these medications work.
I will send a prophet to you, a deliverer of the nation, who shall guide you, who shall toil and suffer with you. If you listen to his counsel,
you will multiply and prosper. If his warnings pass unheeded, you will fade away and perish.
Say, let my people go.
Not crazy at all.
Okay, so what do you think that Paul Keaton is doing? We're not going to call another Keaton. Can we just step off for a moment with a great shot?
Some gift like second sight. Well, this is a perfect. I made an effort to do this a number of times. 3 wishes for experimental purposes. And only a couple of times did I succeed. The thing was
It's a motor-driven mechanism, and it's going at 2 different speeds. One motor, especially when it goes at 2 speeds. Because the one on the outside goes faster than the one on the inside.
Шум, а потом критически поверху сказать.
Radio Free Europe, and they were saying, hang on to 3 weeks, 3 more weeks. Be coming. We have to fight for the last bullet, the last drop of blood we was holding on to. And what happened was, it was lying to us, the very
He's going to the fire anyhow.
Right in front of the window. My hands in the river. My feet
It's potentially always a threat. So if you are working
C'était une de ces
Purgatory was weird. Purgatory was temporary hell. It was like it was as bad as hell, but you were going home.
Je montrais mon chef-d'œuvre à une personne et je leur demandais si mon dessin faisait peur.
Мы режиссеры действительно знаем. Для нас шляпа тоже является качеством какого-то, артистизма и этикета. Я был освобожден.
Spooky language.
Условно запрещен.
Gentleman with a Kalashnikov. Какой там лучше? Что, о чем вы говорите?
Сейчас пришло время, когда будет эта стена осуждена.
I am this thing that wants to sing. I am up against the spit and scream of judges. Oh God, I want to sing.
I started off singing in the shower before I got out.
Der Schein der elektrischen Straßenlampen sagt gleich hier und da, dass der Zimmer
This is director of
Everyone they make glass.
Oh, it's surprising to be so cute, but this always makes my life a living hell.
Course of our ongoing program. It's coming through a hole from those nights.
This situation and they are not happy when they change the way of
stimulus of a very precise nature. Between the left and right hemispheres of your brain.
They have like their own country. Their own countries have like this ship, and the ship is like the size of America.
It's coming from the sorrow in the street, the holy places where the races meet, from the homicidal.
He killed and imprisoned his rivals.
The deal with Berlin wasn't enough for the Project Hope or any of the other tidbits that started coming out from reliable sources.
To understand that we need pleasure.
Translated in the West and saw my little brothers. It's here they let the breathe. Why did not he said, I breathe here the careless spiritual thirst.
In fact, can put you into a meditative state.
They equip themselves with Molotov cocktails.
Weil die Staatsspiele auf Balkanen Sacramento unauffällig eingerichtet unter dem Namen
Учрежденные пользовательские правом знать свои обязанности.
getting a little bit of Dutch on the nomenclaturas testicles.
Messages on a regular basis.
Вот, например, есть такой нефтеперерабатывающий завод в Литве. Он был создан специально еще во времена Советского Союза под сибирскую нефть.
Точно выходит в колокольни, слишком Физика выставляется, значит, из Москвы, такой ракет не каждый отсюда платит. Чем это же не секрет, что все управляется. Ясно, что сигнал идет из правительства из Кремля.
Only dirty with dust, those in power.
In fact, many people refer to this type of heightened thinking as being in a flow state, or being in the zone. You probably experienced it yourself.
Why they got the idea to make class.
Remained under the ruthless dictatorship.
Для того, чтобы обратить ваше внимание. Чего он добивается?
From the back
Capitalization is cheap theatrics.
Still the land, and the man survived. Stood fixed, immovable, in a blood flat of white babies, representing time.
You see them on the street peddling flowers, big smiles, cheeks glowing like Hitler used. High on the opiates of the people.
They will still shout at us, but all of a sudden their voices will get higher.
Writing or publishing anything on so-called flying cars.
That's an order. Thank you very much.
In Los Angeles,
A step further.
the rating goes up and down both sides.
Eine Freikarte. Cell-kurs, który zapisują w pamięci automatycznej. Running files was not enough.
Get real.
Wir Russen brauchen die Sache nicht anzuschauen. Gewalt war das einzige Mittel, mit dem unsere Führung Erfahrung hatte. Against where there were more than 170,000 informants to monitor the country's entire population.
The sniping, the accusations, the counterfeit.
Shredding documents to the very end. Prezydencki samolot 3 razy okrążył lotnisko.
Mit Blick auf den Bahnhof Friedrichstraße im Stasi-Jargon.
If a lot of people who are into the construction of power very easy.
Good point on your part, still.
And of course, lot of places.
Okay, every single thing out there, like city-based telephone pole, telephone pole, maybe.
Our business, no,
If they're saying now we have this different TV that can censor your movie, that's optimistic.
He's actually the ball dome
Let me ask.
Now, if you're playing the movie on a telephone, you will never
and we are main supplier of jute and jute products.
I thought you were dead! I tell you, this is a matter of seconds.
all our doors stand open.
He's offered the chance that you've been waiting for. He's been looking for his opportunity.
Of course, like all life, unnameable, to make you speechless, sad-faced,
It's because you made it successful.
no Satan is guys, but under entirely different circumstances.
I'd just like to know the name of the man who pushed me.
Forgetting all this nonsense, we thought.
This right hand we give you.
break trains
Very common in psychiatry.
See here already. See here already. I'm in charge here, so make sure I have this. You don't need that. Yeah, we're done. What happened was, they were
Well, any descending spiral like that is very difficult to get out of. You see, the less you see, the less you're going to want to see it, because more and more painful you see it, until finally a point of no return is reached, where you just couldn't make the transition.
Identified something called the human archetype.
Child. And I replied, my lord.
I really don't
Remember that situation I put you before. Somebody comes in. Was a time between administration of the drug and appearance of the problem consistent with previous reports?
While the Master of Life, ascending through the opening of the cloud curtain,
So the three mechanisms
through the doorways of the heaven, vanished from before their faces, in the smoke that rolled around him.
Does he ever call you up on the telephone?
Okay, alright, so I'm gonna, disconnect the call.
Would you please act much more normal?
Spirit, excitement, and even sex appeal.
There was no more danger. So I went back to work on my thesis for about 3
There are no
minutes.
telephones ringing. When they get here, there's nothing of that. This is a scam.
I had some luck.
Good night. And good luck. Not quite.
Not quite. There aren't, in fact, very many secrets.
Tie up thy fears.
You see, that's a real point.
But he isn't following. Sometimes just at the same time.
I will abroad, and not restore mine too shall I ever sigh and pine. My lines and life are free, free as the
So
road.
at the end, the decision is made as to which idea was the best to summary it all together without having to say it 3 times.
I think I have an idea.
He starts doubling up.
Double pleasures.
That will come out of this. That is right. This is going to be quite a yarn when it gets finished.
Thank you very much for coming here. Are you really, brother?
What evidence? What evidence are you talking about?
Shiv, the overall consequence of this is the possible impairment of DNA replication and the induction of genetic mutation. A possible mechanism to prevent these deleterious effects is to use agents that can alter and thus reduce or prevent DNA damage.
Don't forget, the phone is tapped.
Very rarely, a mutant gene arises which happens to have an advantageous effect.
It requires your farsighted view and your strength
Only
and the realistic use of dialectic thought.
Right about the soul of another country.
The matter is none less than that of the conscious control of human biological evolution,
I
that
feel a
is.
distinct revulsion. Have you no pride?
Pure, unadulterated, sickening rot.
Misconceived ideas of secrecy, inadequate theoretical guidance.
Applicable in this connection is Marx's revolutionary dictum: the philosophers have only interpreted the world in various ways. The point, however, is to change the problem before us. We must first consider certain known facts concerning the genes.
Those people are in such a strange and really artificial position.
is the product of his own sperm and egg. The differences between the amorotic idiot and the normal man, and it should be realized that the process of artificial insemination in itself is possible, from which we are now successfully escaped, would rest upon the same time avoiding the objectionable features which were of course in this way. By even considering all the above represents quite the antithesis.
On whose part? Do you think that the Russians are ready?
Das mein Deutsch schlechter
After man had thus managed to develop to at this stage, it becomes possible to begin a conscious social control.
20 years later,
As I should like to term it, hopelessly outdistanced even in this field, voicing impotent phrases of dismay.
Well, it's possible.
Then in the next generation there'll be 2 more.
We sounded a word of warning.
And in the next 2 more, and so on.
And it was elaborated that in the operation Shiva will be in a go condition.
Вот чего же боли. Что я могу еще сказать? Теперь я знаю ваши боли. Меня презрением. Так. Я говорю не нет. Я говорю не да.
Listen to the hummingbird, whose wings you cannot see.
So more than 20 years later, he still thought evolution is the abolition of censorship.
Listen to the hummingbird, and listen to me.
Where they were making it, people outside the reservation didn't know what it was. You don't want to hear about chain reaction.
Listen to the butterfly. Gaze but number 3. Listen to the butterfly. Don't listen to
Well, he has, in a way, upstaged destiny.